Humans are creatures of habit. We really are. And I have found that that sometimes can be your worst enemy when it comes to turkey hunting. We all have our little routines we do every day. We all have our little places that we go, our little things that we cook, the way that we talk, just the way that we do certain little daily activities, and that's all right, I guess, as long as it don't, harm you or hurt your body or hurt your soul or anything like that. As long as, but we all have, routines. But when it comes to turkey hunting, boy, that can really mess you up. And sometimes you just got to learn to do something different. We got to get out of that mind frame that we got to do something a certain way every day or it's not going to work. Or because maybe that's the way that we're comfortable doing things and we're afraid that if we get out of that, then we're going to just blow all the hunt. We're going to just mess up and we're going to run the gobbler off. Let me explain right quick what I'm talking about. I remember a number of years ago, I went somewhere to hunt and you was allowed 2 turkeys in this state, and the first morning that I got there, I killed a turkey. I got there late that night, killed a turkey the next day, and I didn't want to tag out because I was going to be there for a week, and I didn't want to tag out really quick. And so the guy that I was hunting with, he had never, shot a turkey on camera, and so I was going to go film him. I said, well, I'm just going to go with you and call for you and try to film. And so the next day, we just go and we start walking and call. I get this gobbler fired up about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I could just tell by the way this gobbler was reacting, he was going to be one of these what I call kamikaze turkeys that just come flying in on you, just really quick. He was like 150 yards, and he'd already closed the distance very fast. And so that last time he gobbled, I remember just reaching up and pulling him down, and just trying to hit the ground. It's like, come on, get down, And so I back up, because instinct takes over. I back up and start trying to set the camera up, and the equipment stuff. And I knew this turkey was coming in hot. And here he is, crawling out there. He's crawling out there, trying to crawl to 15, 20 yards to put a decoy up, because he felt like he had to have a decoy set out to kill a turkey, because he'd always hunted with decoys. Now, I'm not against decoys, and I very, very rarely use one. Y'all know that, and I usually carry one just in case I take a notion that I feel like it might help, but I hardly ever pull it out, and that's just not my style of hunting. But that's all right if you use one, but don't get in a mind frame to think that you got to have a decoy out to kill a turkey. Because when you get into that bubble and when you get into that routine of thinking you got to do this, sometimes it'll mess you up. And here he is crawling out there. This turkey's, just over the ridge. I mean, he come in quick, and I knew by experience he was going to come in quick, and he's out there on his belly, crawling out there trying to put this decoy up. He crawls back, and about the time he crawls back, no sooner had he almost got back to the tree where his gun's out, and I look out, and here comes that turkey out there about 55, 60 yards. He's just standing there. And he sees this big blob laying right here, and it just blowed that whole hunt, See, he thought he had to have a decoy out there because that's what all the TV guys do, and that's what all these other guys do. They got to have a decoy out there because that's what so-and-so told me. He messed up that whole hunt, right? If he'd have just got down, sit down, and waited, he would have killed that turkey. Now, that scenario plays over and over by a lot of people by doing this. A lot of people think, well, if so-and-so did it on television, that's the way I've got to do it here in my home state. Now, I'm going to go out here and stick up a pop-up blind and put 3 decoys, put 3 really expensive decoys out there, and I'm going to call, and I'm going to wait, and this turkey's just going to come in here sooner or later. Now, that may happen, and sometimes it does happen. But here's the problem you run into. You're sitting there on a lot of mornings in that blind with them decoys stuck out there, and turkeys are all around you gobbling. They're gobbling 250 yards over here. They're gobbling 300 yards over here. They're gobbling 150 yards behind you, and they're going the other way. And what do? You just keep sitting there because that's what you're comfortable doing. That's what you think, well, I got to say here, or you don't call a lot. What about that? You've been told over and over and over for years, don't call a lot. Turkeys don't like, a lot of calling. Well, whoever come up with that mess? Whoever come up with that myth that turkeys don't like calling? They're out there calling every single day. You know, so all these people that say, well, you know, you get out there and you call too much to these turkeys. How do you call too much to a turkey when you're trying to locate him and you're trying to work him in? Now, it is true once he gets up there, and we've talked about it, you know, over the years before, once he gets up there close, you don't want to call loud, you don't want to, you know, call as much, you want to work him in. That's true. But I'm talking about trying to locate a bird. I'm talking about getting out there and staying on a call until you ring the trees, until you locate him, and until you get him fired up, wanting to come your direction. And so a lot of times we get into a habit of thinking that we got to do it this way or it's not going to work. And so many hunters have set in blinds with decoys set out in front of them and listen to turkeys all around them that they could just sell out of the blind and go after them, but they don't, because in their mind, just like that guy crawling out there to put the decoys, I got to do this to kill a turkey, or I can't call too much to kill a turkey. I've got to be quiet. Something else, I think that a lot of people intimidate their own self by listening to other people call, or maybe a world champion calling, maybe you watch a turkey competition, calling competition, or maybe you go to your local, calling competitions, and you hear that some of these guys call, and they're just so unbelievable on a turkey call that it actually makes you sit there in the audience and go, man, I totally suck at this. What am I doing? No wonder I'm not having luck. I'm sitting out, I can't call like that. And so once we get out there in the spring, we kind of just remember what we've heard, and we just think, well, I'm not going to call as much because I'm not as good as so-and-so. And you know what? I've always said it. You don't have to be an expert caller to kill a turkey. Really, and I think I've always told people this, if you can just call 50 to 60% real like a hen, you can kill a turkey. I have killed way over 100 turkeys in my life, spring gobblers in my life. And I am not an expert caller. I've even had guys on here, comment and say, well, that guy just knows how to slip on them. He can't call. Well, I don't think I'm that bad. I don't think I'm the worst caller. I think I can hold my own, as far as sounding real and know what I'm doing. I can purr and cluck and yelp and gobbler yelp, and I can do all that stuff. But I'm not an expert. I couldn't win a competition for nothing, but I can kill turkeys. You could take a guy on a stage that can call your ears off, and you put him out there on an old public land or, very pressured private property gobbler that's in the woods. He's not in the field. And I guarantee you something, most of them couldn't kill him. They'd walk out and say, well, he just left, right? But you take a guy that's got a lot of experience, knows how to slip in the woods, knows how to crawl to them, knows how to slip on them, knows how to get around on them, and call at the same time. That guy's going to kill more turkeys than the guy on the stage that don't know how to move about in the woods. It's just the truth. So I think woodsmanship plays a big part in killing turkeys, and I think calling plays a big part in killing turkeys. But a lot of times we get taught this thing that, well, don't call, very much. Well, these turkeys are call shy. We've talked about that. There ain't no such thing as a call shy turkey. We say, oh, these turkeys are call shy. Don't call to them. Or we get out there and we say, well, I'm not going to stay on this call. Listen, I'm going to stay on a call until I get a response from a turkey, and then I'm going to figure out what he wants and how to call to him, and what he's telling me he wants as far as me calling, and I'm going to try the best way I can to figure out a way to kill him. So you got to do something different. If you want to kill turkeys, if you're not having the success that you would like to have, and you've been hunting the same old way, the same old routine, the same old property, and just having 1 or 2 kills under your belt a year, or not even that, listen, do something different. Never get comfortable and never get in a set way to hunt by the seat of your pants. Get up and do something different. You say, well, it's not orthodox. Who cares? Do it anyway. Well, it's not the way that, the television guy. Who cares? You're not out there on television. You're out there one-on-one with a gobbler yourself. And you know what? One of the things about these TV guys, they don't show you everything. They show you what they want to show you to sell their products. They don't show you every single thing. There's a lot of editing and a lot of television stuff that goes on that hides the true hunt. And so, do something different if you want to be more successful this spring. Get out of the habit, get out of that same old routine you're in, get out of that rut, get out and do something different, and I guarantee you something, you're going to start having a lot more success. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button. Also come over and join my Facebook and check out the website, DellOutdoors.com. I really appreciate all your support. Our channel's starting to grow a little more this year as turkey season is approaching. Check out our calls at Spring Fever Custom Calls. I appreciate all of those that follow me on Facebook, YouTube. Hope that a lot more of y'all join up, and I will see you in the next video.